Hello, Claire here, and welcome back to another session of Chats with Claire. And in this session, I'm going to be chatting with Stella. Now, Stella's a new designer, and she wrote in with a question, well, two questions mainly. Her first question was, what do I think is going to happen post-COVID to the design industry? So we talk a little bit about that, and I also share my sort of thoughts and opinions on opportunities that I see for what people could be doing at the moment in terms of trying to build their brand and try and get things ready for when things reopen again post-COVID. So that's the first thing we talk about. And then the second thing that we cover is a question that Stella asked me about, should a new designer go out and start an interior design business or a decoration business straight away on their own, or should they go and work for a design firm first? So I share some ideas with Stella about how I would look at that particular problem if it was my problem. And so we sort of have a bit of a chat about that as well. Now, if you would like to have your own chat with Claire, then I have put a link in the comments below for you to be able to submit a question for that, or a couple of questions. I'm answering questions on whatever is helpful to you. So it might be things to do with looking at your renovation or your space planning. It might be to do with building up your design business, starting a design business, scaling your design business, whatever it might be. I'm also happy to talk about SketchUp, whether that's a good fit for you, what you can do with it, or productivity, whatever you think I can help you with. So if you have a question, and if you would like me to, or if you would like to have one of these chats together, completely free, no catches, then please submit your questions via the link below. Now let's get on with today's chat with Stella. Even though you've sent me the sort of bits and pieces of what you're wanting to ask me about, do you want to give me a bit of an overview of what you sent me?
Okay, so because of what we're going through, I thought it'd be good to ask your opinion about opinion and your thoughts about the interior design industry post COVID-19, and especially for those just starting their interior design business or thinking of setting up their those who want to set up the interior design business or just started their interior design business without having built any brand recognition, because many economic commentators have made very scary prediction for the global economy. And just wanted to ask, what impact will this pandemic have for new and established interior designers? And also, what advice you could give someone starting out in the industry? Would you recommend them to start with a developed business, someone who's well recognized, or would you advise them to start out their own business?
So do you have a business already?
No, I haven't. But I was thinking of going into to
Yeah,
go solo.
yeah. And have you been studying interior design already? Like, I know you're part of my SketchUp course. Have you done, you've done
Yeah,
design training already?
I
Yeah,
graduated in 2013,
yeah,
UAL,
yeah,
as an interior designer.
yeah. So, I'm not an economist, but my view on what's happening with the COVID thing is that the economy, like, it's sort of like a pretend recession. In my, like, people will probably yell down the screens because there'll be people who are more, on top of the whole thing than I am, fine, in terms of the economics of it all. But from my point of view, like, it feels a bit like a pretend recession of sorts, in terms of, like, there's no reason why most of the economy shouldn't bounce back once things go back to normal. But having said that, I think a lot of things could change in terms of the way that people's behaviours have sort of been impacted, I guess. Like, for example, with our industry, I think
Mm-hmm.
you'd find that a lot of people have moved consultations online to Zoom and those sorts of things, or are trying to do that sort of work. And for me, like, I feel like there'd be people who potentially in the past maybe wouldn't have ever been interested, or have or think that they couldn't do it or whatever, to have meetings like this over Zoom, who potentially would be willing and able to do that, which I think is a good and a great opportunity for our industry, in that it opens you up to not only working as a
designer in your sort of like 20-kilometer radius, you can open yourself up to helping people from all around the world with different things and e-design and all of those sorts of things.
But do you think it will impact financially? I mean, yes, we can. There are possibilities of doing consultations over like those virtual platforms, but won't it have an impact financially? Like, how is it with your business? Do you feel like there has been a dip?
Well, for my business, it's different because I'm not working as a designer anymore. The online courses industry is doing really well at the moment because people are home, they're looking to upskill and give them, like lots of people are doing my courses at the moment because they do have a little bit more time on their hands. They, are interested in making sure that they are upskilling their skills and their self so that when they do go back into the workforce, because people have lost clients, they've lost work, they've lost their jobs in design firms and those sorts of things. So for me, I'm probably a different case. There are lots of design firms who would be struggling, and I feel like the businesses that didn't have strong brands and that were sort of struggling as businesses already are probably going to be highlighted as a result of what's going on with the COVID stuff. So for me, I think that's something where you actually have the opportunity to be building brand. Like at the moment, there's massive opportunity, and the people who are spending their time giving out free content, like these things that I'm doing here, like with these Zoom calls, like I have a bit more time on my hands, and so what can I do for my community to give value and to add value and help you guys and bring some more value. And so I think because the people who do that, once everything goes back to normal, the sort of brand trust and the recognition, not even recognition, because I definitely don't do these things for recognition. I do it because I actually like helping people, but it builds trust, it builds authority, it builds the fact that you know what you're talking about, and that stuff will be remembered once everything goes back to normal, versus the people who have completely shut down and they're like, woe is me, my business has fallen apart and it's all not fair and that sort of thing. So I feel like the more you can do, and especially for someone like you, like if you're just sort of getting started and stuff, I would be making, and you've got some time on your hands, I would be making. So making on your Instagram, writing blog posts about stuff that you enjoy or like about the design industry, or stuff that you already know, or how you're building up your own design business, or your current thoughts on different aspects of the design industry, or whatever those posts might be, to help you build authority. I think that would be a massive thing that you could do. These are sort of long-term strategies, but you need to think long-term in terms of like the build of brand. And it's those people who do build brands rather than more so just transactional businesses that are going to have a much healthier business that would survive something like what's going on here. If that does that make sort of sense to you?
Yeah.
Do you do any sort of content creation stuff yet?
Not much. I'm not really a social media person, but I've realized how important it has become, and that you have to really step into it if you want to get known or reach out to others. Yeah. So that's something that is my struggle here.
I mean, I think that a lot of designers and creative people are a bit like the way that you're thinking. Like a lot of creative people don't like to put themselves out there. They don't like to be seen to be showing off or like, I'm so wonderful. They don't really like the marketing side of running a business. But for me, the way I think of it, and I guess the thing is that I give a bit of tough love sometimes when I talk. This isn't even directed at you, but like the way that I think about things sometimes is a bit tough love, in terms of like, if you don't want to get involved with social media and the fact that every single person is in their phone 24 hours a day these days, you're probably not going to survive against the people who are willing to do that, if that makes sense. And so when people sort of say, I sort of push back against social media and all of those sorts of things, my view is that if you want to build a successful business and a successful brand, more importantly, so something that will survive if anything like this ever were to happen again, which hopefully it won't, definitely want to be trying to think about how you can build up that thing. And it doesn't have to necessarily be like, you need to think about your personality and what you're comfortable with doing, because there are a lot of different options with the way that you can make and create and give value and do all of those things. Like, it doesn't have to just be about having a pretty Instagram page. Like, it can be perhaps you're comfortable doing like a podcast where you would like I don't know, interview experts from the design industry and, you know, something like that, or like a YouTube show. I don't know, but like you know, you need to think about what would be sort of, I guess, aligned with what your personality style is and what feels genuine to you and what you would enjoy doing. So I don't know.
So would you recommend, to my last question, because we've got not many minutes left.
Yeah.
You would recommend a new starter to try up their own business than rather going to work for an established one?
Yeah, okay. So your question's, do I start my own business or do I go and work for an established brand? I mean, an established interior design thing. And so I guess when I saw that question, what I immediately thought about that and what my answer might be to that question is really, I think it comes down to your level of confidence in whether you feel comfortable at this point to go out and establish yourself as a person running their own design brand, design business. For me, when I first started, I was comfortable to do that. I had already worked and done different things. I knew I didn't want to work for another person. It's sort of like an internal process of like, what do I want to get out of this? What makes me happy? Like, you might love being the best designer that another design company has in their business. You might be happy with that, being number like 2 or 3 in a design company. You don't have the, you know, financial responsibility of paying everyone. You don't have to win all the work. You get to do the design and all of that sort of stuff. So that just might be your jam, and you might just love that aspect of it. In which case, that's great. If that's what makes you happy, then go. I think that would be the path that you take. If you don't really like working for other people, want to set your own hours, don't really like going to work 9 to 5, all of those sorts of things, you love the marketing side, you thrive from like how to win work and find clients and do all of that stuff, then definitely I think, and then have the confidence to actually go and meet with the clients and win the work and do all of that stuff, then I think starting your own business would be the way to go. So I think that's like a bit of internal work, I guess, but perhaps a bit of a framework to think about how you might go about thinking about. I don't know, does that help you at all? Or
yeah, I guess yes, it does. I guess I have to look inside inside of me and figure out if I could actually, if I'm ready to go solo, or if I want to maybe gain a bit more industrial experience.
I mean, I think if you don't feel that you've necessarily got, and again, this isn't necessarily directed at you, but like anyone who doesn't necessarily feel that they've got the confidence or the like the experience to go out and start their own thing, then I 100% think the value that you would get from working in someone else's firm and picking up the way that they run things and how they work with clients, how they win clients, like getting clients through the door is fundamentally going to be the most important part of any business, because if you don't have clients, you don't have a business really at all, no matter how good a designer you are or how good your marketing is or any of that stuff. So if you would like to learn the ropes of that, then I definitely think going and getting a job would be 100% a really good way to learn all of that, those sorts of skills and stuff. So I think it really just comes down to those sort of confidence things and what makes you happy. Like at the end of the day, you want to be doing something that you enjoy doing, and so if that's working for someone else and doing the design, that's one thing, and that's, if it's being your own boss, then that's a completely different thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Claire.
That's
thank you very much.
No worries. I hope that was helpful anyway.
Yes, very, very. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I mean, I've never seen anyone do something like this for free.
I'm very, very, very happy to do it. And if you have any other questions, just ask me. And if you're I think you're part of the Facebook group, are you? Or so just reach out, and I'm here, and I'm trying to be, I'm a few steps ahead of some people. Some people are a few steps ahead of me, and if I can offer any value to people, then I'm more than happy to do it. And so just reach out. So if you have any more questions or anything like that.
Thank you so much, Claire. All right.
Enjoy your day.
Yes.
Thank you. See you
Bye.
later. Bye.